Alright guys, so let's go for Amazon Web Services, AWS, and well, we had some introduction already, and if you remember that we went to a website here, infrastructure.aws. Oops, infrastructure.aws, this one, right? And oh, it's they've changed it. Okay, so normally a globe comes there, but they may have just changed that already. So they're spread across the planet. We talked about that. We played with the globe as well. In fact, if I go back to this global infrastructure here, why infrastructure matters. So the big reach of AWS, Amazon Web Services as a cloud, infrastructure as a cloud, IaaS, right? Infrastructure as a cloud. So it has 24 launched regions and 77 availability zones, 5 local zones, 12 wavelength zones, 6 announced regions, 12 announced local zones, 2x more regions. Now we have talked about that in one of the classes before, but we needed to just have a refresher about what was region, what was availability zone, and then what are the data centers, how many of those are there. So if I just go for a quick basic diagram here, so on the top comes the region, and the region would be a big physical area, right? This is as basic as I can go. And then within region, so within region we would have 2 to 8 availability zones, right? So try to remember it this way, availability zones, right? And now availability zones, we can say isolated physical areas within the regions, and then within each availability zone there can be, we can say, 2 to 8 data centers, and each data center would has 100,000 up to 300,000 servers, right? Physical machines, right? Physical servers, rack servers or blade servers, 300,000 servers. Well, we can say physical servers, not virtual servers, right? So that's what you need to remember within each region, which is a big physical area. So we can say the size of Ontario could be considered one region. East US is actually a large part of North Virginia, and within North Virginia they have 6 availability zones there, which suppose in Ontario you can divide the availability zones like one availability zone can be Mississauga here in Greater Toronto area. The other availability zone could be in Vaughan, and another availability zone could be their Ajax, right? So they are not far apart, and then within the availability zones they have data centers, could be 2 to 8, and those data centers are few kilometers away from each other, and those data centers you would just create thousands of your company's virtual machines and synchronize with them, the virtual machines can synchronize with each other, right? For high availability, disaster recovery, backups, and scalability. You want to really scale. Suppose the company is very big and they want to deploy their applications on 5,000 more virtual machines, so they can do that. And because underlying infrastructure, hardware infrastructure, physical infrastructure is huge, right? So a company could scale up to 100,000 virtual machines as well. That's a big number, and there are global companies with 100,000 or 200,000 employees, right? So those companies can easily then afford to have 20,000, 30,000 virtual machines as well. So that's why, and it's not just one company, it would be thousands of companies whose virtual machines and data would be in these data centers. So this is something that you should keep in mind. This is AWS Cloud, and we're talking about IaaS model, which is infrastructure as a service. And also this is like we can say virtual data center we can connect to. So what do you do in data center? You create virtual machines, you create networks, you create storage, you create databases. So in a data center, you can just pretty much create any kind of component or a virtual machine that or a database that your company would need. So you can do anything there. Excuse me. Well, keeping that in mind, then we can go to the AWS console and try to know some of the services there and some of the features there in a console, and check what's going on. So I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this page and put it on your OneNote. So in the midterm, normally it's a quiz, and it's comprised of like 20 to 25 questions. So there, and there normally they are all true false. So I call them 20 traps instead of 20 questions. So I could just ask any of those details here that I put there, that within one availability zone there are 2 to 8 regions, right? So obviously it's false. Or within one data center there are 2 to 8 availability zones, so that is false as well. So these kind of statements could be there, and if you're sharp, you would know that it's not true or it is true. Excuse me. So what's the plan now? Let's connect to the AWS cloud and check out and explore the different features and services of AWS. And one more thing is that I would be creating your user accounts there, and it would be a good idea if I could confirm right away as well that whose ID is which, the college ID that is. And if we create in the class, that would be better. We could just make sure then right away then and there that okay, this is working fine, instead of later students asking, oh, I cannot log in. So first of all, what I'm doing is that I'm going to AWS Management Console, and what's the URL for that? So you can see there, it's console.aws.amazon.com, and it just shows /console, and in fact it also mentions the region that is nearest to us. That's North Virginia, or the US East. Actually, well, there is Canadian region there. So if I go to regions here, okay, well, let's have the intro first. I am logged in from this URL. I'll just put that URL here, since you all have one node, so it's gonna just copy to your site as well in a few seconds. The URL to log in to AWS portal is this, right? And I'll be first of all introduction, and then I'll try to give you the user accounts as well, so you can log in as well. And okay, so I connected to this URL. This URL exactly will not work for you, so let me just can you post it in the chat too? Yeah, okay, David says, can you post it in the chat? Sure, I'll put it on the chat. So guys, I'm putting it in the chat, but you don't have to really try that. You don't have a username right now. I'm going to be creating for you, and the URL for that would be different than this, but the URL that I went for, this is that, right? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead, guys. I logged in already to the console, so when you log in, you will also see this kind of console, AWS management console. On the left side, you see services. On the right side, you will see your username or ID, college ID actually, right? And on the right side further, you see North Virginia written there, right? If I click that specifically down, so you can see US East 1. This is US East 1 region called North Virginia. Then US East or US East 2, another region called Ohio, right? And then US West 1, US West 2. So two regions in the east side or east coast, and two regions in the west coast, right? So hopefully you've remembered that map. In fact, I'm really scratching my head right now. Where did that globe that I was showing you, where did they move it to? It was supposed to be there where we were expecting it. So AWS infrastructure, and there was a animated globe. So that same link, they've moved it from there. Infrastructure AWS. Seriously, they moved it. So they didn't like us playing with that globe. It was so much fun, you know, just revolving that globe, animated one. Okay, just kidding. Anyway, I'm just gonna go to that map, and yeah. So you can see there's in North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, which is called EMEA, and Asia Pacific. So in North America, you can then, okay, now it's not even clickable now, but they do show that the map shows regions. How many regions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there are 6 regions here. That's full North America, including Canada. So you can see Canada Central is there, and Gov Cloud, so cloud for government, where government can put their data and virtual machines, and Gov Cloud US West, Gov Cloud US East, and then US East region, Ohio, US East Oregon, and US West North California, US East North Virginia. So our region, well, our region is supposed to be Canada Central, right? But and there are 3 zones inside, but we're going to be connecting to US East North Virginia region Y. You can see that availability zones, how many are there? 6. And try going to overview. Juris says, try going to overview. Really? Where? Oh. Nope. Well, there's a bigger map, but that's really bad. But that globe was, wow, amazing, you know, animation that they did, and it's so sad. I'm so sad right now. Okay, anyway, maybe it's another link, but they did surely moved it somewhere. Okay, so if I go to the main page of AWS, and nope, nothing. Okay, anyway, we were talking about is that we're gonna always connect to US East North Virginia. Why? Why not Canada Central? Canada Central does not have all the advanced features and services that AWS offers, and it has less availability zones, 3, while most availability zones for any region in AWS is 6. So it has a bigger infrastructure, and it is having all the features, all the advanced features are there. In fact, in another class, I was just I was telling everyone, hey, make sure that you connect to North Virginia. Suppose on the top right, you see there, I'm logged in, right? Here I'm logged in, and you will be logged in soon as well. So on the top right, I see North Virginia. Some students would see Ohio written here, right? Ohio like this. So some students decided, oh, teacher is saying that the prof is saying North Virginia has all the advanced features. Okay, we will go for Ohio. We will keep the region Ohio. Then we started creating virtual machines. Then we started using some services here. And then the student said, oh, oh, prof, it's not really showing me this feature. Then I said, okay, which region? And they said Ohio. And like, all right, didn't I tell you to go to North Virginia, because all the advanced features are there, and slowly in other regions they are adding more advanced regions, right? So we've already tested that, tried that. They've put all the advanced features in North Virginia. For now, they are available there. So we're gonna go ahead and try those. So this is the console that you see first of all when we log in. So first just see the introduction, then I will start creating your accounts as well. And second thing is that on the left side you see services, and we're going to go through that as well, because that's exactly where we need to go. But on the right side you see whoever owns the account. On the right further you see North Virginia region. So these are all the regions we were talking about, right? In fact, in global infrastructure, when we talk about, so overview, how many regions are there? So there are total 24 regions, and 6 more are coming, and 77 availability zones, right? 24 regions. So it's okay, first one. And so these are all the regions that are there, right? And pretty much in all continents, all 6 continents, that is, not 7th one, they can't actually. Africa they have, Asia Pacific they have, Canada Central, Europe, Middle East, and South America actually. So and 6 more are coming. So these are the regions. You can connect to any one of those, but the thing is that it's better to stick to North Virginia, because all the advanced features are there, so there's no use of connecting to others. And so you want to choose any region. Yes, you can choose any region. Why would you want to choose another region when you're actually in or nearest to North Virginia region? Why would you want to go for other regions? Suppose your customers, suppose you have a company and your company's customers are, or big clients are in Singapore or in Asia Pacific region. There are so many clients you have, and in European region you have so many clients. So you would want to go there and create some virtual machines and create some data there for those customers, so they can connect to their nearest region instead of connecting from Singapore to the North Virginia. That will cost them a lot of bandwidth, and the speed would be comparatively low. New ones all for North America. David asks, new ones. So those which have a lot of features. So North Virginia is one of them, but there are many in Asia Pacific, Europe as well, that have that many features as North Virginia has. And if you say new ones, so the new ones, actually 6 announced regions, they are in different parts of the planet. They're not in North America. They are in Asia Pacific and Middle East and Europe as well. Okay, so we understand that there are those regions as well. Oh, 6 new ones coming. Oh, okay. Yeah, those 6 new ones, these ones are actually being introduced in Asia Pacific and other. So it's not in North America. In fact, they have that detail as well. And in the slide, we also talked about that. The new ones would be actually here. Oh, coming soon. There you go. So coming soon ones are these orange ones, and yes, Europe and Middle East, Bahrain and India and Japan and Jakarta and Sydney. Yeah, so it's pretty much in Asia and Middle East. New ones are coming. So these are the new regions. Okay, and so this URL would be very good to go for to check out the latest information. I'll just put it in chat as well as in. So that's the global infrastructure that you should have a good read about. We're aiming for doing that certification as well. That is supposed to be, you're supposed to do that after the end of the course, or even during the course, like in the last year students were doing that. And the thing is that there's so much demand in the market for these skills. And the global infrastructure, I'll just quickly put that link there so we could go ahead. Alright, so as I was talking about, there are regions that you can choose. And why would you want to choose? If you have clients there, or you want to back up your stuff. Suppose you want to back up, you don't have any clients in US West, but you just want to have a backup away from where your actual data is. So then in that case, you can also go for East US, West US, or East US and Asia Pacific and Europe. So just for the backup you want to go for, it's also okay. But normally if you need to put a backup, so normally within the same continent, companies tend to put their backup, and they create their data on more distant regions if there are clients, if their clients are there, right? So these would be two major regions. Either you to get backup, did I say bake? Okay, other than that, there's support. And support has obviously all the documentation, training, and all the links there, support center, right? Now, so there's we've talked about that there are regions here. We've talked about well, we just mentioned there are services, but we're going to go in detail now as well. And also there George Brown College. So this is just a name that is showing there. If I go click that, so there's the my account there, and then my organization, then my service quotas, my billing dashboard, and my security credentials. So the main, whenever you log in, obviously the first our favorite area would be billing dashboard, right? So if your company has created their accounts in AWS, and you're the only resource in the company who knows how to work, how to do work on cloud, and you have the cloud skills, so you would want to keep a really good eye on my billing dashboard. If I click there, so it's showing 0, which is good, and billing and cost management dashboard is showing there. So on the left side, cost explorer, budgets, you could just make a budget as well. Hey, don't go more than that, please. Or if it reaches a threshold, then please alert me as well. And cost and usage reports, you can just go for all the reports there. Bills, orders and invoices, credits, purchase orders, billing preferences. So obviously if the companies are going to put their very expensive applications, some of the applications are so expensive, like it's a $100,000 one license for suppose a hospital application with a huge amount of features that the hospital really needs, or insurance company really needs. So all those kind of features, right? So that's something that needs to be checked. Now, other than that, there is that bell icon here that would tell you whenever you're creating any service. It will just let you know with live performances, like progress. It will show live performance. Wow, it's going some performance. Okay, and then there is that shell, cloud shell. You want to give commandlets. You want to put commands, and through commands you're gonna create virtual machines. So this CLI, we call it CLI, command line interface is there. You can give commands to create a virtual machine. You can give commands to create a full network and to create a storage, create databases, create any services, or you can click and go here and then create and use services. So I'll just go to the other side, and if I click, this is the main area, the services, right? So if I click that link here, then you can see there's a long list of services, and these are the services because of which companies go to AWS. This is the services because of which AWS is still the top cloud provider, and the services of suppose there's a compute category here. Compute just means CPU and RAM and SSD drives, and so normally it's compute is just compute, network, storage. So these things, and compute has CPU like processing and RAM. So how do, when you see here, oh, compute, so it's about virtual machine? Yes, it is about virtual machine. Oh, where is written virtual machine here? Nowhere. Why? Because this EC2 means virtual machines or virtual servers in the cloud. So elastic cloud compute. So they just give weird names to the services that we already know. That virtual machine is here is called EC2 instance. That's virtual machine. So there are many terminologies that we're going to be talking about, but this is the area where mostly we will spend our time going through not all services, because that's 200 plus services. We're going to go through, we're targeting that certification called AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam, and in that certification whatever services that come here, we're gonna there in the exam we're gonna discuss that. So on the left side you can see favorites and then recently visited. So if you have ever clicked on these services, those will appear here. Now guys, I'm gonna go to a service called IAM, Identity and Access Management. Okay, so IAM, let's go to IAM. Well, let me go to IAM, but why am I even going there? Because I need to create your accounts, and I'll give you the URL as well. Okay, and first of all, Identity and Access Management. So this is, we can create users, groups, policies, permissions, right, roles, etc. We can also configure authentication, authorization, and accounting here, right? So that's going to be your first stop when you go to AWS Cloud. Obviously you would want to create users, you want to create groups, and you want to put permissions there, who get what kind of privileges there. So the first stop would be a service called IAM, right, which is Identity and Access Management. So you must remember that, and that's our first stop. Then comes the virtual machines, then comes the storage, then comes the networking and databases. Now within IAM, now I still need to have to give some introduction to the services, the categories there. And if I go to IAM, so IAM is actually here we could see the categories as well. Okay, so these are the categories. So compute category, there's storage category, database, migration and transfer, networking and content delivery, developer tools, robotics, and then comes customer enablement Blockchain. Whoa, blockchain, man. 1 Bitcoin. How much? $45,000. Okay. Anyway, so blockchain, and then satellite, quantum technologies, management and governance. We're going to come back to these. We're going to be talking brief about these sections or categories. Media services, and then comes machine learning. That's really growing fast. Machine learning, you create some code that you put in the machine, and machine starts following what you tell them to do in the code. So analytics, security, identity, and compliance. Now this is the category where the first one is IAM, identity and access management, right? Security, identity, and compliance. And that's where you would see a lot of security software and encryption, authorization, counting, everything. And front end, web and mobile, AR and VR, and application integration, AWS cost management, business applications, end user computing, Internet of Things, IoT. It's also increasing a lot, that everything will have IP addresses, so it's going towards that. Game development and containers. So you can see that category called security, identity, and compliance. So I'm going to click inside this while we still will be doing later introduction to these major categories here, or all categories. If I go inside the IAM, so there I can see that there is a dashboard excuse me, and you can see on the left side groups, users, roles, policies, identity providers. So we're going to explore that. And on here you can see users 22, roles. So, and there's a link here, there's a URL. This is the company URL, we can say. So I am going to click and customize that first of all, and you will see what's the use of that. It's COMP3108 winter 2021, and I'll go for Wednesday dash. Hope it lets me create an alias. So it's another name. Oh, it should not be caps. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm giving a name to a URL that you will be using to log in to AWS, and I'll show you in a moment what I mean by that. Okay, I kept it all small case and create alias. So as soon as I create alias, so it's Wednesday, COMP3108, winter 2021. So Wednesdays are your class, and Tuesday is the other batch, right? So in Wednesday we have this class, and guys, I'm gonna ask you, any one of you actually identifies the your ID here? Is any one of you having any one of these IDs here? If you're watching, no one, right? So if everyone's watching, can you scroll down? Okay. Well, hopefully I did not scroll down too much. So not yet. Oh, these IDs, by now any one of you must have told me that, oh yes, that's my ID. This is it, right? And I think this is not 16 of them, so I don't think these are your IDs. No. Okay, now this is the other section then. And okay, so I'm going to click the add user. Now you can see one thing here. I'm going to click add user here, right? And in add user, what I'm going to put is the ID and the first name, right? So I'm going to be removing those all IDs there, and I'm going to be putting here an ID and first name. So what you can do is, you can put in chat here, everyone. You can put here in chat your college ID dash first name. My first name is Amir, right? So I need your college ID dash first name. Keep it as small as possible and put it on chat, like college ID dash David. No, and it has to be small case, right? There you go. Oh, David. Okay, I'll convert it to small case. It's not gonna take caps. Okay, now that's coming as spam. So I'm trying to copy. So guys, see this exactly as what you're doing now. This is an ID that this is the username I'm creating, right? So I'm gonna click add another user, and then I'm gonna go for, okay, second one on the top is Ethan, and okay, add another user. Who else? Tenzin. Third one is Tenzin. Add another user. RF. Keep it as short as possible. In terms of, if you have a long name, you can just use half of it. Nargis. Okay, copy. And oh, David third time. Hey, are there two Davids? Oh yeah, there are two. Because that's ending with 781 now. Okay, 781. David 781. So. Oh. Why did I just copy that again? Oh, there's the other one. 475 David. Okay, that's the other David. I'll go for 475. 4475, sorry. And who else does work? Okay, I'll copy that quickly. So that URL that I created, and I'll be giving you the information, and once I say login, then only login, don't try before that. So those were 0. I think it's gonna let me create 10. So the first batch, I'm just copying from the top, whoever put first there. Okay, and who else? Alexander. Okay, I think that's, yeah, that's the 10th. So Daman. Okay, I'll just go for these 10, and then obviously the rest I'll be going for you guys as well, but this is a limit reached here. So hopefully you have seen your ID is correct there, and I'm gonna go down here. Now there is I'm also showing you how to create a user, like I'm telling you the process of creating a user inside AWS. Where's my Miserit? Yeah, Miserit, it's a, you know, right now this console can take, this page can take only 10. So I'm going to be creating again. I'm going to be coming back again to create the rest of the other six users. So once one says I didn't put a dash. Okay, no big deal though. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead now. Try to understand that how in AWS a user is created, and what kind of questions, what kind of features does it offer, what kind of questions that is asked. So it says here, select how these users will access AWS access keys, and auto-generated passwords are provided in the last step. So programmatic access enables an access key ID and secret access key for AWS. So programmatic access just means that if you want to connect to AWS services through any program, through any third-party program, then if this option is selected, then all the above users can connect through any kind of third-party software like a file explorer or Visual Studio or any other program, and through the program, if you want to connect to AWS, then you can do that if I select the programmatic access. If I uncheck that, then you can directly connect to through the browser, which is this option, AWS Management Console. So this will allow you to connect to, you will put a URL here that I will provide to you, and then it will ask for your company subscription ID, which I will give you, and then your username and password, right? So management console means you connect through a browser. Programmatic access means you connect through some third-party software to AWS. And management console here, through the browser, you just connect to AWS, right? So these are the two different ways you can connect. I have selected both, and I'm going to click next permissions. So there are these permissions here. One is okay, I have to check that, but EC2, you can create virtual machines there. And if I click two more, oops, it takes us to the page. EC2 full access, S3 full access, VPC full access. Okay, got it. So, that is, oh, okay, these are the groups, right? So I'll put you on EC2 admin, which means that you can create virtual machines there. And yeah, it has permissions for full access. Okay, anyway, so I'm giving some permission here, but later I'm going to be giving more permissions, right? But this is the permissions area for all the users. I'm going to click next, which is tags. So what is tags in AWS? Tags is that you want to put key, and then so key here, and you want to put some value. So what does that mean? Okay, suppose department is key, value is IT, right? Suppose I put that. Course COMP3108, and day Wednesday. So you can just put information like that, right? And I'm just gonna go for review. So it just says that, okay, this is the review, and these guys, these are the usernames that are about to be created now. I say, okay, no problem. And so I'm gonna go for create users. Once these users are created, there's going to be a download.csv file there that I would definitely want to download. Otherwise, and your secret access key and your password, it's all showing here, but I'm just going to download this file. And I'll go to my gazillions of folders here. Okay, so these are the, we can say, user names of first 10 students. We can also say first batch. Okay, first batch. Then I'll just call the other one second batch. Once I save that, so obviously when I open this, it will just give us give the information about your credentials and the URL that you can connect to. So I'll be giving, let me just first create all the users, and then I'll be giving all this. So here I've downloaded that. I'll click the close here. So it says you successfully created the users shown below. Okay, close. And then I'm going to go for add user quickly. Now you know the process of how users are created. So the rest of the users that were not created, so Meseret, I'm just going to copy that, and I'll just go for that to those users. Meseret, copy. And the students which are left now, please put your Dante. Guys, it has to be small case, no spaces. Okay, third one, Max. Okay, the rest of the students are just 6 more, I guess. So. And Wayne. Oh, 4. So 14 students. There are 16 connected here, and no one's connected 2 times. So how come 14 I have here? Okay, so anyway, if your ID is not created here, then obviously you cannot log in. And how can I mark you if you are not logged in and doing the exercises? So if your account is not created here, you're definitely not going to be marked.
There's one there for Charisse in the chat.
Charisse, yeah, that's just appeared, and I'll go for that. But there's one missing. Who's that? Anyway, hopefully everyone's watching this, and how come they're total 15? Anyway, I'll go ahead. Someone is sick. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. So guys, I'm gonna just put programmatic access. Now you know what it is. It's just through a program, through a software you can connect to AWS and management console access that you can connect to AWS from the browser, right? So I'm gonna click next permissions, and what I gave before I'll just give here as well, and tags. Oh yeah, so for you guys also, its department was IT, and course was COMP3108, and day is Wednesday. Okay, review and create users. Yeah, I forgot to put the year since I didn't put for those guys, so I didn't put here as well. I can put later as well. I can add it anytime. Okay, so I'll just go for download CSV here as well, and that's the second batch. We can say usernames of, well, that's other 5 students, not 6, and I'll refer to it as second batch. Save. Okay, so guys, you just need to log into this, and you know, this year AWS changed the whole way that you know, students should be managed, and this is really strange the way they let me do this. So guys, first of all, I'm putting the link here, right, for everyone. Second thing, everyone knows the username as well. So the link is in the chat, and let me just go for, I'll show you the passwords as well, obviously. Let me just write it down here as well, that for students, the login URL is, so that's pretty big font, I guess, not. So I put there already in the chat. Now that's the URL, and you got your usernames as well. Now guys, the 5-second batch, can you see this? Now this is your temporary password. You can log in from these and quickly then change it, right? So these are just temporary passwords, and you can be quick about that. I'll copy that in, no, well, anyway, I don't think you will be able to see and then go for it. So guys, I'll just share it with everyone's credentials. You can just copy paste that, go to that URL that I put in the chat, pick your username, pick your password, change your password, right? I'm gonna show that for the other guys as well. You don't need to see the screen now. It's there in the chat already, your passwords, right? I'm gonna go for the other one now. That's a bigger bunch, and I'll just get yours. So guys, just simply grab it. If you still tend to forget, I'll just change it for you if you have some issues there. So there's the other batch coming, and grab your username. You have the URL, grab your username, put your password there, and everyone's password is different. You just need to be quick about it. Use the username, password, log in. Guys, is it asking anyone to change the password, or are you just logged in? Account ID. So the username, yeah, account ID would be.
There's three areas: account ID, IAM username, and password.
See this, guys? Let me just copy that. This is your account ID. That's part of the URL. So account ID equals, and after the equals, you need to put that. It's in the chat now, right? So account ID is in the chat as well, and it's part of the URL. So this is I'm asking for the new password. That's good. That's good. So just go ahead and create your complex new password. Oh, please mute, guys. Go ahead and give your complicated, complex password. Okay, are you going to post the other 5? Oh, Cherise, I already did that. See on the top? It starts with Meseret, Dante, Max, Wayne, Cherise. See on the top chat. My chat. Oh, your chat is not working. Your chat is not working. And
what is IAM username?
Cherise is talking right now? Okay.
No, it's Alexander.
What is IAM username?
Yeah, it's just my name that we
See this?
input.
This is the username that you're
Oh, it's my student ID. Okay, I get it.
Right?
Thank you.
Welcome. And where's Cherise? Cherise, let me show you yours. Actually, you're saying that you cannot access chat while you're chatting with me and putting there in the chat. Same thing. Let me just show yours. Cherise, see this? Your username is this, and your password is this. You can just copy paste that, like not copy paste. I put it in that chat as well, but you're saying it's not accessible. So see this, guys, and password is this one. Username this line, password this line. Account ID is the Wednesday till 2021. The URL you already have. This is the full URL. I put everything in chat. If there's an issue, let me know. Ahmed Mohammed, did you get it as well? I'm showing this screen, then I'm again going to the other screen, although everything I put in chat already. So you must have already, majority are already logged in with the credentials that I put in the chat. So anyone who didn't get it, let me know. Those who are logged in, you can type done. Those who are not logged in, okay, keep trying, or if you're stuck, let me know. Oh wow, that's a lot of dones. Wayne is done, Norma's done, Damandeep is done, David is done, Alexander done, Nergis done. That's it? Okay. Oh, okay, David, other David Steger is done. Dazwar is done. Tenzin is asking account ID. Why? Okay, see this, Tenzin? See this? This is your account ID. Oh, account ID, sorry. Account ID is Ziz. It is here, Wednesday till sign in. Oh, sorry, not sign in, 2021. This is the account ID. I'll copy that and put it there in your chat where you just wrote it. So put that in account ID from Wednesday. Yeah, this one. And the username is there, and the password, and the account ID. The URL you already have. And Tenzin, this is your username. This is your password. Okay, who is left? Max is done. Okay. So many are done, but many are still not done because not everyone has put the word done. If you're stuck, just ask me, right? You want to know something about it, just ask me and I'll keep putting those links there. Ahmed says, done, change the password. Where you go? Okay, Ahmed is done. David says, can I change to North? Yes, guys, you can all change to North Virginia. On the top right, you can see your region. I think many of you are by default going to Ohio, or you're seeing Ohio there. So yes, you should change to North Virginia. Okay, Dante says done. Okay, good. We still are like 9 or 10 are done. The rest are still doing it. All right. What's up, North Virginia? So in North Virginia, we're going to use all the features. It's just that right now you will be looking at the features, but you don't have the permissions there. So slowly we're going to start having those permissions. We need to have a proper introduction there. And then we're going to start making up stuff there, creating stuff there. We're going to try to understand and slowly go ahead. So guys, I should assume that everyone is done. Anyone not done? Anyone having issues? You can just put it on chat. You can come on mic and say it, or put it on chat. If anyone having issue, if you're all done, then let's go. And okay, I'm still working. Tenzin is saying still working. And anyone else? So you're still working, but you're not having any issues, so that's good. And if you everyone has changed the password. Well, you were forced to change the password, which is good. So that is something that, okay, Mesrat's saying still trying. So URL, I'll just put that in that. So, well, I actually already, so for students, the login URL is this, and account ID is, so I'll just put it separately here as well. And username equals ID. Oh, I put too many words there. Dash your first name, and the PW I showed you on the screen, as well as type or copy pasted in the WebEx chat. Okay, so well, while you guys are trying, or some of you are still trying, let me know if you're having some issues. And this is all the information you need. And if you want me to show your username password again, although it's in the chat as well, I'll show you again. So you can ask all this again as well. So let's go back to, since we're, okay, Tenzin is done as well. Can we make something? Well, let me show you what to make, but majority of the thing you won't have permissions for now, and I'll be slowly opening your permissions to do things. As soon as the lab site comes, then I'm gonna start or giving you permissions. So here, this is again a new model for created by AWS. This was not the case last year. Last year we were just independently creating stuff right away, and here so yeah, I'll definitely would want you to create a lot of stuff. We're gonna go through that, but let's try to understand. Now guys, if you go to services, now everyone should be there on the console, right? So this is you would be logged in to these services. In the background you would see that console, which I was showing you before as well. So everyone, because you will be able to go through all these places. It's just that when you're making changes, that's what you're not allowed, and I'll be slowly opening up for you whatever I can open. AWS has put some restrictions here because AWS offers this free to the colleges. So AWS has put some restrictions there. Now since everyone's logged in, I'm assuming everyone's on slow and steady is okay. Okay, cool. Okay guys, so on the left side you can see here services. Now everyone can follow me as well wherever I'm going. So you can also click, first of all, once you click that, okay, you see all the services here. You might not see all that because you haven't yet visited all these areas, but I have already done that, so that's why I'm seeing all this. Second thing is your ID should be showing on the top right. Third thing, on the top right, either it will show global. Whenever it shows global, and at that time if you click it, so all the regions will be grayed out. Why? Because some of the services are not region specific, some of the services are just global. So global just means that you want to create a user. Obviously it doesn't have to be that, oh, this user only is for North Virginia region or only for Ohio region. No, it's globally available. You can use that user to go to any of the regions. So whatever service you can use for any of the regions is then the regions all go gray, and you can't select any of the regions. So suppose this is one example of global, right? Well, actually you might not be seeing that. So let's click services, everyone. Hopefully everyone's following now. Let's click services, and then there's a search here, search bar, right? In the search, go ahead and type IAM. So everyone, in the search, because I'm about to ask a screenshot, and that screenshot has to be your screenshot where you're going to be, your name must be showing there on the top right. If your name is not showing there in any of the 10 screenshots today, so you will lose marks. So so go ahead and type IAM here, and when you type, so IAM related services come up, and obviously this is the service that everyone should be seeing here. If you're not seeing that, let me know. I'm going to click that IAM here. Once you click that, well, I did click, did I not? Okay, once you click that, so in the background IAM should be there. If it is open, that's good. So you should be on this IAM service dashboard, right? So I hope everyone is there. Obviously you will not see, oh, in fact, are you seeing users 37 there as well? Got errors on my page? No. Okay, it said I'm not authorized to perform. Okay, got it. So this means that you are not able to see that. Let me go ahead and IAM. Okay, got it. So I'm gonna go there, groups. IAM full access, users. Okay, I'll be, I had some other users who were created there. Wow, what a manual way to do this. Can I just not do that? There is. Okay, I'm just down to, these are some of the other users that were there, and that's gonna really show a lot of issues if I just, so I'm just getting rid of this. In Windows I could have just select all and that's it, remove. Now I'm gonna go for add users to group, and I'll go for the ones that just got created here. And the good thing is that there are names here, so I could just identify these were created in today's class. Dante, Alexander, Bauman, Wayne, Cherise, Ethan, Tangent, buzzword, array, max. Okay, that's it, right? Yep. And add users. So what am I doing? You can see the group name. Group name is IAM full access, right? So that's the group name. Now, what does that mean? It means this group has permissions or privileges, and once you're added to the group, you get those privileges as well. What are those privileges? The privileges are full access to IAM, right? So the thing is that oh yeah, we can sort them, and so Cherry says that you can see, everyone can see now. Refresh your browser, see this. You can go to refresh or sign out, sign in, whatever you can do. But Cherry's, I think, is already able to see that. Mohammed can see that too. Can you please show me how to go to IAM? I missed it. Tangent. Okay, so everyone's saying yes. That's good. Tangent, see this. Once you're logged in, you can go to services. And in the services, or even if you don't go to services, anyway, you should see an IAM. Oh, you see a search bar here. This search bar. So just type in search bar IAM. Once you type in the search bar IAM, you should click this IAM, and that's where we are, right? Okay, can see. That's good. Type IAM the search bar and select IAM. And yeah, there you go. Therese is telling you. So yes, I think everyone's able to see that. Now guys, first of all, this is the first screenshot now, right? What is the first screenshot? That you can see the full IAM. I think you're seeing this page, right? So I need you to take a screenshot, and that should show your name on the top right clearly. The screenshot will be called screenshot 1. Every screenshot will have a name, as last class we also talked about it. So the name of this screenshot is AWS IAM, where your name must be clearly showing there. So take a screenshot, call it screenshot number 1, and its name is AWS IAM. I'm going to take that sample screenshot, and I'm going to give that name as well, so you can follow and you can know exactly what page screenshot. In mine, it will be showing my name here or my designation here, but in your case, it should be showing your screenshot to show your name, right? So I'm going to take a sample screenshot now and give you the name as well. So this is the screenshot I need. I just took it, and I'm going to put that screenshot just like last time. I'm going to go for screenshot 1, so you can call it screenshot 1, and you can call it AWS IAM. That's it, right? So you need to label every screenshot, and at the end of the class, put it in MS Word document, name it your full name, course name, upload it to week 4 today. Okay, so I'm going to paste that screenshot, right? And the screenshot is there, sample. The only thing is that you cannot use this screenshot because it doesn't have your name here. So your screenshot should have your ID and name there showing. But this is a page exact configuration that I want you to, and this is the name. Hopefully everyone got it already. The other batch is very used to it, and they just quietly keep on taking screenshots. I don't have to give all the details. But you can ask any question if there is a confusion, right? So now, since you're logged in, hopefully you're logged into OneNote as well. So you should it should be updated on your site or copied to your site as well. You could see the name and the type of screenshot we need. Once that is done, so I'll just go back now, guys. I'll go here. Now, once you've taken the screenshot here, and my screenshot text is very small, it's okay, Wayne, as long as it's kind of readable. That's also good. It should be readable on a certain level, or I'll use a magnifying glass, don't worry. Okay, so here, if you see this screenshot, guys, now how many users do you see here on your screenshot? Do you see exactly 37 users? Exactly. Okay. So everyone sees 37. Okay, got it. I can see same as you. Oh, there you go. Cool. Okay, guys. Now, other thing. Now we're going to go for. Um, so we have already seen how to create a user, and there are some users there as well, right? So other than that, we can create groups as well, and we can give permissions as well. And so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go to groups. So let's go to groups, and then I'm gonna click the create new group. So I need screenshot of the exact screen. And guys, whatever you do here in this console, right? So the auditing software shows each and every step you've taken. So from which account, who took what step, it exactly shows here in auditing, right? So the thing is that and second, oh yeah, I forgot to mention one more thing is that every student has been given or allotted $50 worth of service usage. So every student is allotted $50 worth. So $50 is not coming in your bank, it's worth of service usage. So what does that mean? It means that suppose you create a virtual machine, and the virtual machine costs per hour 0.034 cents, right? So they're going to be subtracted from your total $50. And once you're done, so suppose when we create virtual machines, I'm going to tell you, hey, create a virtual machine. Okay, see, this is the feature, that is the feature, and then I'm going to ask you to delete the virtual machine. Why? Because we don't want to get your $50 finished soon, but we're going to understand each and everything, all the features, why this feature, why not that feature, right? So if we are careful and you're following my instructions, then you will be able to do a whole course within $50. If your $50 are finished, that's what we got from AWS, then it's just going to be you can then let me know. I will see from here as well. From the console, we can see anything and everything what the students are doing, which services you've used, and what you created, what you deleted. So we can see everything, and it would affect your marks as well. I've given you full access, so you can play with the features. You create it and with your name, and you delete it right away. Don't delete anyone else's stuff. Because that's all recorded here, plus their marks will be cut if anyone is trying to delete somebody else's stuff here. Now this is something that should be not allowed at all, but I don't know what AWS was thinking, and they just simply started they said that, okay, do it this way. Now every user has access or full access, but everything is recorded, and any negative activity, you will lose marks. Not only you will, well, the main thing is you will lose marks if you're not doing anything other than what I'm doing, right? Or whatever I'm asking, you should only be doing that. And you want to do something else here on the AWS, first ask me, and it's going to consume your $50 as well, right? So $50 is actually more than enough if you're careful and if you're really following what I'm doing. Then as I told you, that one virtual machine, when it's running, it's going to charge you like what, 0.0023 cents, something like that, right? So that's pretty cheap, right? So $50 is not going to finish right away. But if you're not careful, suppose you created a machine and you forgot to shut it down. You created a machine, you forgot to delete it. Then you will incur charges and your $50 balance will be gone. Okay, so Alexander says, can you please also type in chat name of screenshot and time when we have to take screenshot? Okay. Right now you got it, or you want this one? I'll put it here as well. Yeah. So that's a good suggestion. I'll put it on the screenshot, on the chat as well. So that's our screenshot. Now guys, normally we're supposed to have a WhatsApp group, and I think some of you did say hello to me on the WhatsApp group, but not everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 2 or 3 can say hello to me on the WhatsApp group, and I'll add you guys. Then I'll just put that WhatsApp link there. So I will also put all the screenshots there in WhatsApp group plus all the other resources. So again, my name is Amir, and number is 647-554-9446. You did that. Some of you did that, but not all. And I got a little busy as well. But this is a very fast. It's a good fast communication. The other batch is fully on WhatsApp group, and we share a lot of material there. So you can just take my name and number and just say hello on WhatsApp to me. I'll quickly create a group and add you there, and we can then quickly share more stuff. But whatever I share there, I will definitely put it in OneNote and in this as well. But that's where, suppose you're stuck somewhere, you can take a screenshot and put it on WhatsApp, and I will tell you right away, oh, do this and that, and you're good, right? Okay, anyway, so please say hello to me. Okay, cool. And I'll just get it there on this. Alright guys, let's go ahead. It's in the chat as well, it's in OneNote as well. Hopefully you're seeing it from both areas. Now let's get back to what we were doing. Now here, so now you get that $50 worth of credits per students are there. And let's go to the groups here as well. And in the groups, oh yeah, hello again. So in the groups, guys, when you're saying hello, just kindly put your full name and course name, right? Thank you. So groups, we're going to create a group, and then we're going to check that what is group, then we're going to check what is permissions, then we're going to check roles and policies, what's the difference between permissions and policies. We're going to go through all that, right? So let me go ahead. Let's create that group. Yeah, when you're, again, whenever you're putting on chat, just put your username, full name, and course name. Okay, so let's go to that. And everyone hopefully now following, create new group. I'm gonna click that create new group now. So let's click that together, create new group. And then we can just create your first name. I think there are 2 guys who have the name David. So you can go for David and the first letter of your last name, right? So just go that way. Suppose my full name is Amir Shahzad, so Amir S I'm just gonna put there, right? So David, and if your first letter of the last name also is same, then go for the first and second letter of your last name. Okay, anyway, so your first name and dash sales group, right? Okay, yours is S, and the other David is okay, so D. Okay, so David D. That's good, and David S. So now when you're creating the group, you can just create like this, and your first name dash sales group. Hopefully everyone has written that already. And at any moment I can just ask you that, hey, take a screenshot of this page. So don't go ahead of me, otherwise you'll lose it. So let's once you've written that name, let's click the next step. And now what do you see? You see attach policy here, right? So what is policy? Policy is collection of permissions, and we're going to go in detail of that too. So AWS policy is a collection of permissions and we can connect policy to a user or a group, right? And it's just a collection of permissions. We can create our own custom policies as well, and also there are many policies for 200 plus services in AWS. Okay, some information about the policies, and we're gonna go ahead and try to, oh, why am I going again here? So I'm going back. So now you can see here there are policies showing here. You can see IAM user change password, Amazon EC2 full access. So if you try to first of all, on the right side you can see showing 640 results, 640 results. So that's a lot of policy. If you drop down, if you keep going down, that's it's just until 640 it's gonna keep on going down. So you can see that it keeps on going down and down. So what are those policies? So you have 200 plus services, and for those services there's a full access. For each of those 200 services plus services, there's a full access, there's a read-only access, there is certain privileges, and then certain more higher privileges. So it goes on with 640 policies there, right? So that's a lot of stuff there. Well, I'll put it here. There are 640 policies in AWS. Alt tab, I'm so used to it. Okay, so what we can do, this is the group that gives you certain kind of permissions here. So if I just, let's just type here database, right? So as soon as you type database in the policy type search area, okay, Mesrit is no sound. Oh, guys, are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Oh, yes. Okay, Meseret, all others are able to hear me. Check your audio. All right. So let us go ahead. Okay. No. Let's go for this attached policy here. So now you've put the database here. So this means that this group will be having highest privileges to create a database, because you're giving the privilege of database administrator to the group that you're about to create, right? And actually the group name is sales. So anyway, the purpose of this lab is just to show that how to create a group and how to give this group a privilege by attaching a policy of your choice. So I'm going to select, let's go ahead and select that. This is just random. We're not going to actually use that group to create databases, but this is how you can create a group and then attach any kind of policy you want once you search it. So this is selected. Hopefully you have selected as well. And I'm going to click next step now. And it says here, review the following information, then click create group to proceed. Now it says here the sales group name is this, and policy is database administrator. Now hopefully nobody had clicked create group already, and hopefully no one did that. And maybe I have oh, okay, cool. So maybe I have mentioned that before, the Einstein rule: I no click, you no click, right? It can't be easier than that, even though grammar is wrong, but I no click, you no click. So that's the deal. So go ahead and take your screenshot number 2 now, which I'm gonna put the name of this screenshot in chat as well. Screenshot number 2, where your every screenshot must have your college ID top right very clearly showing there, and the screenshot name is creating a group. So screenshot number 2, creating a group. Take a screenshot here. Screenshot number 2, creating a group. Missed the last part. Oh, Masrat says, Masrat, if I go previous, see this? The rest can take a screenshot and name it screenshot 2 equals creating a group. I'm showing Masrat. Masrat, if you're here, I hope you're here. So just type database in the search and then select this like this. Hopefully you got it. And then just click next and take a screenshot. Okay, so here, take a screenshot, and I'm going to take a sample screenshot here, and I'll type that name there as well. Make sure your name is showing on the top right. If it's not showing, then you lose marks. So it has to be showing your name. So that's going to be screenshot 2. Creating a group, Control V, then I'll put in the chat screenshot 2 equals creating a group. Okay, so that's the name in this chat as well, and the group has been created as well. Okay, now if everyone has taken the screenshot too, and this page, then we can just go ahead and create that group. But we understand that with the group you can just attach any of the policy among 640 policies there in AWS. So I'm going to click that create group now. Okay, so I have clicked this group. I think everyone has clicked it. If I refresh that, I should be seeing 37 groups here, right? Yeah, I see David's group, Daman's group, David D, David S. That's it. I'll refresh again. Okay, now I see more. That's good. So we can see everyone's progress, because this is easy, right? Then it's gonna get really complicated. It's gonna start getting complicated, and that's what we're going for later. So who else? Somebody missed it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Some names, few of the names aren't there. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead, guys, and it's pretty simple. You can create groups, users. I've shown you how to create that, and if you go down to roles here, so role is used when you have specific scenarios in AWS. Roles, what do? They also give privileges. They also give a certain kind of permissions there, but they are used in just specific scenarios. So what are those scenarios? I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a pen here. So the first one says here, I am user in another account. So you got your account here, right? Suppose your company has 2 AWS accounts. So in that case, you will have 2 AWS accounts, and those if you want this is AWS 1 account. Suppose this user account, mine is AWS 1. Suppose the company also opens another AWS account, right? And AWS 2. So AWS 1 has a virtual machine. So I'm gonna stick to the terminology. It has an EC2 instance. What is EC2? EC2 is a virtual machine. Elastic Compute Cloud. C2 means there are 2 C's there. E means elastic, C means compute, and another C means cloud. So elastic cloud computer, elastic compute cloud, you can just say it. but it's just a virtual machine. It's just a difficult name for a virtual machine. So AWS 1 has a virtual machine, but AWS 2 based user account wants to access this virtual machine in AWS 1 account. So if that's another IAM user in another account, so in that case, so suppose there's a user Bob here has created a virtual machine, and user Jane here in the other AWS account wants to access that. So if that's the case, then user Bob can actually create a role and attach to that role EC2 permission. So permission number 1, Jane can create a virtual machine. Permission number 2, Jane can start a virtual machine. Permission 3, Jane can stop, restart virtual machine, edit virtual machine, delete virtual machine, right? So you attach the collection of permissions to this role, and basically any EC2 related permission, there's a policy for that too, that EC2 full access is the name of the policy. EC2 full access is the name of the policy, and that is all the permissions about EC2 instances or virtual machines. So Bob will create a role and will attach that. Bob will create a role and attach all these permissions of virtual machine can be created, virtual machine can be edited, virtual machine can be deleted, and so okay. So David says Jane can do all this on AWS 1 with a role, exactly as you said. So Jane will be accessing the virtual machine in AWS 1, and Bob would create a role. That role has to be given to Jane, has to be attached to Jane to actually, so Jane could use the virtual machine. So first scenario is that IAM user in another account can, the role is used for that in that scenario. Second scenario is that application code running on an EC2 instance that needs to perform actions on AWS resources. So if the scenario is that you have a virtual machine here, right, VM, and in this VM there is like OS and there is code running inside. Suppose you're a developer and you are running long code that does a lot of tasks, and that code needs to perform actions on other AWS resources. Now, what is the AWS resource? AWS resource could be another virtual machine. It could be a user. It could be a group. It could be a database. So another AWS resource could be anything that you can create in AWS, right? So the thing is that if you're running a code in a virtual machine and that code needs actually to be run on another resource, it could be user, group, database. So in that case, then you can also create a role for that code. So that code would have enough permissions to make any changes to any other resources there. So a third scenario would be that an AWS service that needs to act on resources in your account to provide its features. So what are services? AWS service, these are all the services, 200 plus services, right? AWS service, these are 200 plus services. So AWS service that needs to act on resources, and resources are what? On a user, a group, a database. It's actually a long list of many other things like IoT devices, related configurations, or anything else. There could be hundreds or thousands of resources here. So a service which needs to work on a resource and to provide its features. So suppose there's a service called EC2. EC2 is a service, right? EC2 is a service. This service provides virtual machines. So this service, EC2, wants to connect to any resource to provide its feature. So what is the feature of EC2? It's a virtual machine, right? So EC2 is a virtual machine that needs to offer its features to any of the resources here, And if EC2 wants to offer its features to any of the resources, you can attach a role to that service. In our case, the example is the service of EC2. So other than that, the fourth scenario is users from corporate directory who use identity federation with SAML. So what is a corporate directory? Okay, so suppose you have a Toronto branch here. Oh, not a nice color. Go for red. Okay, so suppose you have a Toronto branch here, right? And that Toronto branch has a deployment of servers. There are domain controllers here and Windows Active Directory is installed, right? And there are file servers and web servers. And there is a server called ADFS. You may have heard about it. ADFS. What is ADFS? ADFS is Active Directory Federation Services. Oh, okay. So there's a suggestion there. Green. Okay. So there's ADFS, right? So there's Active Directory Federation Services here. Now, what do? Active Directory Federation Services, or ADFS, offers corporate users. So suppose you have a lot of users here, and those users in Toronto branch, they will connect through ADFS, and from there they will connect to AWS. So if the users want to connect to AWS with single sign-on permissions, now you must have heard about that before sometime, single sign-on or SSO. What does that do? What is the meaning of SSO anyway? It means that users can use their own daily username and password, what they use every day to log into Windows 10 machine, to connect to print server, web server, file server in their branch. That same username password they can put and actually connect to AWS. So single sign-on just means that with one credential, with one set of credentials, one username password, you can connect to so many features, so many different services, and the users don't have to remember separate username password for AWS, separate username password for Active Directory here. The same username password that they use daily, they can also connect through ADFS, which offers single sign-on. So through ADFS, they can connect to AWS as well. So if there are users connecting from some corporate directory or local branch to AWS, so then you can use roles as well in that scenario. So these are the 4 scenarios where you can use an IAM role. So we're going to create one and just to check that how it is created, and then we'll go ahead, and in future we may use that as well if there are no limitations in this AWS provided accounts to colleges. So I'll just take a screenshot of this whole, okay, print screen. I think I won't be able to, I did the print screen, then I'll, oh, okay, so I'll take a screenshot of this screen. Alright, so let's go ahead. Yeah, so these are the 4 scenarios where you can use the services or the roles. Now let's click the create role just to go through the wizard as well and then check it out what else it asks there. And once we click the create role here, let's go ahead and do that. Once you click that, so it asks for select type of trusted entity, and so you can see that AWS service Another AWS account, we talked about that scenario. Web identity could be, normally web identity means that you want to connect uh, from any other site. What does that mean? Any other site would be Office 365, which is from Microsoft. Users of Office 365 want to connect to AWS. Users of Facebook wants to connect to AWS. Users of Google Cloud, there's a G Suite. It's a rival of Office 365. It works like Office 365, but it's called G Suite. So users of Google G Suite wants to connect to AWS, so then you use web identity, and you still need to use roles there in that scenario as well. And then the SAML federation just means that you have a corporate directory, on-premises branch there, Toronto branch, New York branch, and you're connecting from there to AWS. In that case, you need to create roles as well. So we're just AWS service, and then we can just go down and choose EC2, which is the most common example here. Once we select EC2, we're just checking what kind of features come in when we are creating roles. There's Lambda written here as well. Lambda is another famous feature that is used by developers, and since Lambda name came here, let me just give a brief intro to that as well. You're going to see that in the exam. In the question scenarios, at least they will ask that, okay, suppose there's Lambda feature there, and then the question will be about some other feature, but it could be. So what is Lambda? It is that suppose you're a developer and you created a code, and that code is about a big application. You wrote a code for a big application. So when you run that code, you realize that, oh, it needs actually four servers, and those servers need at least 32 core processors. That's a lot. That's expensive. 32 core CPU, central processing unit, and 1 terabyte RAM. That's also heavy. That's expensive RAM, right? And terabytes, like 50 terabytes of disk and so on, right? It's for a big company, 50 terabyte disk, SSD disks, right? So that's pretty expensive as well. So you want to run a code of a big application that you created, or your team of developers created that code, big code, long pages of code, that is an application that they wanted to develop for a company, big company. Now, in order to run that code, test that code, you need a lot of resources, physical servers or virtual servers that actually need 32 core processor, 1 terabyte RAM, and 50 terabyte disk. So that's an expensive one, and you have to arrange that. You have to make sure that you have to purchase all that, and it's kind of expensive. So in that case, how about if there is a service that can, okay, so David says containers. Yeah, so containers are definitely used for applications there, and they are lighter than virtual machines, but even a bit further than containers. Containers are still, you have to separately create them. How about there is a service where you copy paste the code to that service, and that service automatically goes through the code and realize and figures out that, oh, it needs this much CPU, it needs this much RAM, it needs this much disk, it needs that much bandwidth. So this service will automatically, and also, oh, this code needs Java environment. Okay, in the background, this code needs some more add-ons. It's gonna automatically discover all that, and it's going to start running the code without, in most cases, without any error. So whatever it arranged in the background, obviously it arranged all that kind of hardware, because Lambda is running on AWS data centers. AWS data centers are powerful. They have underlying very powerful physical servers. So this means that so it's a heaven for developers, right? They don't have to purchase all that. They don't have to go find where the best ones are in terms of the hardware. They just simply copy paste the code in the Lambda service, and it just tries to figure it out, and it simply runs your code. So because it is very powerful, it if it figures out that, oh, this much CPU, RAM, and disk is needed, so it has access to huge data centers that have much higher hardware capacity. So it will be able to easily arrange all this in the background automatically. So that's a pretty cool service. So that's why among developers, now every cloud provider like AWS, Microsoft Azure Cloud, Google Cloud, they're all offering these kind of services to developers and attracting those huge developer community across the planet. Google Cloud is considered having more tools for developers. That's why in 2020 that certification also had a big demand, and 2021 as well, because it's the heaven of developers in terms of the professional, much more mature tools that they offer, and they've been offering for the last decade. AWS and Azure are really going towards that, offering really cool developer tools there. So that's Lambda, and I just wanted to give a bit of background there. I'll just quickly copy that diagram here and then paste it in your so that would be what is Lambda, and quickly copy that here. Okay, let's carry on. Alt tab. So we have selected, we're already trying to create a role just to explore what are the features there that they ask, or what are the questions they ask. So we're going to select EC2, that we're creating a role regarding EC2. And once we select the EC2, then it just says roles is also a collection of permissions, but it's just used in specific scenarios, while policy is also a collection of permissions, but it is used in much wider. So wherever else you need to connect policies other than the scenarios that the roles face, the policies, anything else you want to connect permissions with, then you go for policy. And the next topic is policy as well. So right now we're just creating a role just to explore the features of the role. So EC2 is selected, and then I'll click the permissions. Okay, so here it does say create a policy, which means that you can actually do some shopping of your own policy here. But here you can just select any kind of role. In fact, let's go to search, because there, oh, you know what, on the other side now you see 789 results here for the policy name. These are all the policies which are a collection of permissions, right? So we already also have created our own policies there. Actually, did we? No. Yeah, we attached actually to a group, but we didn't create it yet. So anyway, in the search, just type here EC2 full. In the search, type here. Yeah, exactly. Cherry says your roles are more specific. Exactly, roles are more specific, and anything else is going to be policy, and we're going to explore that more. But you can see if you type here EC2 full, so one policy comes up, and this policy is Amazon EC2. EC2 is a virtual machine, full access. So Amazon EC2 full access, it's saying that, right? Now, what is inside it? We should see that too, right? What's number of policy permissions it is composed of? So there's a arrow sign here on the left side. And even in the previous policies, we could have gone this way as well. So you can see here, if I click the arrow sign, it actually expands and gives you more detail of Amazon EC2 full access policy, how many permissions are there for this policy. So if you expand that, right? So now if you go down here, so it says, actually that's not it. There's a policy summary here, and in fact EC2 full, it has full access to, actually yes, this is it actually. So when you expand that, it just says CloudWatch has full access to this. EC2 full access. EC2 is a virtual machine. You can create virtual machine, you can edit virtual machine, you can delete virtual machine, restart, stop, make it highly available, back it up. So you can do pretty much everything with a virtual machine. That's what this policy is all about. So auto scaling, ELB. ELB is elastic load balancer. Its LB is just load balancer, and IAM. So it has all the right permissions. So whatever the permissions are there in this policy are showing here. There's that policy summary here. Then there's a JSON written here as well. Hopefully everyone's seeing that. So I'm going to click JSON as well. And JSON, it's the human readable format in which you can put a code to do, to give it some task to do, to give it command to do, to let it allow something, to let it block something. So JSON is that way easy readable code. So in JSON, it also says action is EC2, effect is allow, resource is all the resources, asterisk, right? And effect allow, elastic load balancing is allowed as well. Anything about elastic load balancing is allowed when you see star written there. So that's the same thing for, so this is what the actual policy is comprised of. So it tells you in the code, it tells you in the policy summary as well, what kind of privileges and permissions are inside. So I'm going to click this arrow here to collapse it, and I'm going to select it. So this role, we're attaching Amazon EC2 full access policy, which is all out permission, set of permissions to do anything with a virtual machine. Basically, that's what it does. It gives you all the powers to do whatever you want with the virtual machines. So we select that. So this means we are saying that, hey, that role that we're about to create, please attach this set of permissions to that role, right? That's what we're doing. And once you do the, once you've done that, let's click tags. And in the tags now, it's all the information that you want to give. You don't want to give, you don't have to give, or if you want to give, you can. So normally it's a good idea in a production environment to give some type of information. Suppose later you create hundreds of roles. You want to search one specific role that you may have created 6 months ago. So if you haven't put some extra information, how would you be able to search for it? So it's just a role. You can just put any information there. Key could be anything, and value could be more information about what you put in the key. So role, and it could be, it is just EC2 full access, but in the next page we will still be giving that same name again. This is just extra information, maybe department, sales, manager, Bob, or branch, Toronto. You can just keep on putting all the information here if you want. So I'm going to just put this and click next for review. And here again you have to put a role name, and this time you're going to go for your first name dash role dash EC2 full access, right? Your first name dash role dash EC2 full access. So we're just exploring how, where, in what scenarios role is used, and how to create one role, and then how to put permissions, attach what kind of permissions So that was a long list of permissions. We just selected this permission, easy to full access. You could have selected any other permission as well. So this is how a role is created. So you give a name to that, and this is a review page, right? So this would be our screenshot number 3 now. So screenshot number 3 is creating a role. So screenshot number 3 is creating a role. Screenshot 3, creating a role. So I'll take that sample screenshot now. And screenshot 3, creating a role. I'll put the name there, screenshot 3, creating a role. Hopefully everyone took the screenshots, and you have to submit it at the end of the class or by tonight before 12. And that's not possible if you missed anything here now, because the video takes like 1.5 hours, so video will be uploaded tomorrow. So at the end of the class you must have the screenshots, otherwise it's a late submission. Okay, so yeah, screenshot 3, creating a role. So that's in the chat as well. And yep, so screenshot 3, creating a role. I'll just go back to this. Hopefully you've all taken the screenshot, and let's click that create role. Okay, let's click that create role. And refresh. Okay, how many created this? Okay, David, Dante, Daman, Cherise, Arif, Ethan, Max, Messeray, Tazwar, Tenzin. Anyone else? And showing 16 results, but there were already some. Okay, now if any one of you were not able to take screenshots, you need to give me a reason that this is the reason, and you need to take a screenshot of that reason or error. And that's why I was not able to submit today, and try to have a valid reason there. Okay, so we get to know that what scenarios the role is used, and where how to create a role, and how to connect permission as well. So we're going to go to policies, and we're going to spend some time here to understand what are policies. But it's time for, you guessed it, break. Okay, so let's take a break and come back again, and we can start the class at 8:25. So class starts 8. I'll mute and pause. So I have created a class group, and I can see 4 students have joined that. And well, the link is there, those who want to join for quick communication and you want to share your screenshots, and I'll put the screenshots, sample screenshots there as well in WhatsApp. Okay, so let's go ahead what we were doing. Yeah, so let's go to the policies, and we talked about groups, users, roles, and then there are policies here. If I click the policies, we already understand that policies are group of permissions. So we already see that there are ready-made policies for different 200 plus services that are there in AWS. But what about if you want to go for custom policy that you want to select? Suppose this administrator access or any other policy, you want to attach it to a group, but then you see that this policy here is giving too much permissions that basically you don't want that many permissions be there. So if you want to check like you want to create a custom policy where you can choose what permissions you want to attach and what permissions you don't want to attach, you won't attach there, but you can fully go customized on that, and that is also called granular level of permissions, that whatever you just want, you only give that permission. So if we are on policy, then let's click the create policy here. So I'm going to click that create policy. Hopefully you're following. So once you click create policy here, so this is what we're doing is how to create a custom policy there. A policy defines the AWS permissions that you can assign to a user, group, or role. You can create and edit a policy in the visual editor and using JSON. So there's a visual editor that we can also use. Now actually this is a visual editor, but there's another one that I'm going to be showing you later, and there's a JSON. Suppose you go to JSON first, so you can just write the whole code here that I want to give this policy and that policy and this policy, but you should then know how to create a JSON file. But if you go to visual editor and whatever you select here on this page, its code will be created here correctly. So if you go to the visual editor, then about what service you need to choose set of permissions, right? So first we need to choose a service here. So I'm going to click that choose a service, and once we click that, so that then loads up a long list of, these are the 200 plus services. These are pretty much all the services of AWS. So it is just basically asking that about which service you need to create your own customized set of permissions to create a policy. So basically we are creating a policy here, but it's a customized one. So well, we can choose any service. Suppose since we're choosing EC2 anywhere, everywhere before as well, so let's just go for EC2 or virtual machine related permissions we're going to be looking for. So we choose the service called EC2, which is all about virtual machines. And once we select that, we can select any other as well, but EC2 is what we are selecting. In fact, there are other categories here as well, so we're gonna just select EC2, this one, right? So the only EC2 which is written there, I just clicked on that. So you should also be seeing this screen, and then you want to choose what kind of permissions you want to put there. Then this is the process here that specify the actions allowed in EC2. So what kind of permissions you want to allow. There's also written here switch to deny permissions. So right now by default we have started to choose the allow permissions only, or you can go for deny permissions, set of deny permissions as well. So this is by default allow, we're going to stick to allow, and either you can go for all EC2 actions, that is pretty much allow everything in the access level here. There's list, there's read, there's tagging, there's write, there's permissions management. In list there are 123 permissions. Read has 22 permissions, tagging has 2 permissions, and write has 285 permissions. And then permissions management has 5 permissions. So either we select that we allow on EC2 or virtual machine service all EC2 actions, or since we came here to customize, we can uncheck this, right? And then we can try to explore what's inside the list, access level or read access level, tagging, write. So if we expand that, first of all, list here, I'm going to click that arrow here. So you can see that just the list has so many options there for the EC2 service, which is a virtual machine service. So this is just the list, and describe account attributes, describe. So what do you want anyone to be allowed to do for the EC2 service when they are trying to know more information about that? So list just lists out the information about whatever service you chose up there. So I'm just showing that there's a long list of options here. So there's a question mark at the end of every list here, every type of list. So if I go for the first one and just click that question mark here, this one, so then this bar opens up, right? So when we click the question mark, and in the question mark, so it grants permission to describe the attributes of AWS account. So describe account attributes. So just give details of account, whatever attributes you have or whatever features you have. So if you select that, then it will just describe the. Suppose you don't understand from this brief definition, then you can. There's a learn more here as well. If I click the learn more, it takes us to the documentation, official documentation of AWS, that what exactly this list feature does, right? If I click that learn more, it opens a separate page, and then it just gives you more details about what you can do with this option and what are the codes that are provided there, what are the examples provided there. So you want to go in depth with any of those options there, then you can do that. If I go back here, so I'm going to just choose, we're not going for any specific scenario, I'm just choosing a randomly, maybe the first one, I'll just choose there. But we're here to explore all the options and understand that why it is here and what can we do with it. So we choose first a service. Then if you want that some of the information about the EC2 service be allowed, so you're allowing the option that anyone can get details or describe account attributes, anyone can get details about the virtual machines, right? Then they describe addresses, describe aggregated format. So there's a lot of options here that you can choose, but you have to first do your homework and go to question mark and make sure that what does it do and is it really what I want be allowed in this policy. So I will choose, otherwise I won't choose it. So from the list, we just selected one of the option. I'm just going to select, I'm going to collapse that. So first we clicked, so it expanded, right? Now we're collapsing that. So from list we selected one, but we could have selected more if there was a specific scenario. And there is then read, and if I expand the read here, so read just shows describe elastic GPUs, get associated IPv6 pool CIDRs. So this is also about list, just gives you detail about anything, and read lets you actually see some of the features of EC2 instances. So from read, I'm just gonna, so we get the idea that you can do all that kind of shopping here. Suppose a boss said that, hey, there's a new desktop support guys are coming here, and they need to be given very basic permissions for the first few weeks, and then we're gonna slowly give them more permissions there, right? So if you want to do that, then Okay. Alarm. Oh no, serious? Okay. I think we have to follow the building protocol if it goes on. Okay, we're good. So yeah, as we were talking about this, so I'm just going to select that read, one read from here as well, and other than that, I'm just going to collapse that. Then there's tagging. I'll expand that. So suppose you want whoever you're creating the policy for, you want that person to be able to create tags, but not be able to delete the tags. So I'm just selecting one, create tags here, and I'm going to collapse that too. And then if you go down here, this is the more dangerous one that you should be careful about. What kind of write permissions or change permissions you're about to give to anyone. Whatever you click here will be, and you attach that policy to somebody, so that somebody will have all those write and change permissions. So if I expand that right here, and if I go down, so now there's a accept, there's a create, there's a import, modify, delete. Okay, so advertise, allocate, apply, assign. So these are the actions that you can take when you go to the right category, and associate, delete, modify, authorize, attach. So these are all the actions that can actually make a permanent change and can make or break something. Cancel, copy, delete, modify. So it goes on, right? Reject, request, disable, all the actions, enable, start, unassign, unmount, create. So all those options are there, which you have to seriously then go for. Can you briefly show how we got here? Alexander says, which one was selected on read? I thought it was our fire alarm one. Yeah, the first one. Okay, so who's asking? Alexander. So first one of list, right? I expanded that first one of list, then I collapsed. First one of read. We're just trying to understand what is this option for, and then we're selecting some random one. So first one of tagging, create tags, and we're just discussing the right option. So these are a lot of options there. I mean, this window, oh, how did this window come? Hey, where were you, man? Okay, I understand there are a lot of disruptions at home. So how did I come here? Hey, we've been here for some time now. So we click a create policy. Okay, I'll right click and duplicate. And almost 4 a.m. at my place. Hey, Alexandra, where are you? I mean, which country? You're not in Canada? Eastern Europe. Whoa. Okay. Nice. Hey, anyone else not from Canada? Anyone else having a different time zone? Bermuda, Dante. 9:42. AM or PM? PM. Oh, okay. Hey, it's 8:42, so it's 1 hour ahead. Okay, cool. No one else outside of Canada, right? What's the temperature? Yeah, Bermuda would not have winter, I guess. Okay, so... Oh, man. 40? Oh, okay. Fahrenheit. I thought centigrade. So, yeah. Where was... who? 63 Fahrenheit. Okay. Yeah, Alexander. Alexander, we came... hopefully you can see these policies here. And hopefully you're able to see that now. I'm showing you now. So policies, then you click create policy, right? And then when you come here, then you need to choose a service, and so you would click the service, then type EC2, and then select this EC2. Hope you're following, Alexander. And then once you select EC2, then there are actions that we took. Oh, it's not letting. Then I expand actions. Yeah. So when you expand actions, then you can go to list, expand that, and select the first one. Then go to read, expand that, select first one, go tagging, select the first one, and we are on the right now. Hopefully you got it now. Because there's a screenshot coming now. Okay, so this is where you suppose there was a desktop support guys, and you don't want to give them all the rights of maybe the boss says that, hey, those are the new employees, and you're the senior administrator here, and you need to actually just make sure that they are not able to delete anything, but other than that, okay, they can start, stop a virtual machine. So you would not select delete, right? You would select anything other than delete. And delete what? And you can just go for deny permissions as well, and you can actually select delete there, that, and specifically deny for them. Or right now we're choosing the allow permissions here. Okay, so here if I go to create, so whatever you select here obviously would be what you are allowing them to do, but then this would be a long task of selecting and then attaching and then testing it. You would just keep on doing that. Oh, what does that do? Does it give more option, modify fleet or modify hosts? And then if you select the question mark, grants permission to modify a dedicated host, then you realize, oh, no, that's not what I need. I just want them to create a basic virtual machine, that's all, nothing else. So if I go down here, I would just search for create, anything create. So there's a create written here, but create what? Create fleet, create flow logs, create image. Okay, they should be able to create image. I'm just randomly going there just to show you what kind of process you might want to go for. Suppose the boss says yes, allow them to create an image of a virtual machine, so then you choose that, you select the details here, you read more, and then you think that yes, it's just providing them enough permissions to do what we want them to do and nothing more. Create key pair is another thing after image, and other than that, if I go down, so I selected create image, then create key pair. Now what is key pair? When you create a virtual machine or EC2 instance, at the end of it, it's a security feature that we're going to go through, but it allows you to create a key pair, which is in it lets you download that encrypted file. You need to have that file in order to really access that machine. So when we create that, then you'll know. So create key pair. Other than that, if create. So this is the whole process you need to go when you're assigning someone else the permission, someone junior from you the permissions, and you would definitely not want them to have more than what they are supposed to have. So we go way up there to the second line, and check it out here. So some create is here as well, right? So you would just go through the list of create or modify, and then check that what they need to go. So the strange thing is that the create EC2 is not written there. Create, but they have create for everything else as well. So you just need to go deep down and check that what kind of permission you want to give. But main thing is we get the idea that how we can use this whole page to do what. So I just selected just two of those, create image and create key pair. But if I was to create some carefully thought permissions, so I would just check that what boss really wants them to do, desktop guys, new desktop guys, I would write it down and then check that which features exactly, which permissions exactly matches. Then I would have to test them with a test account before you hand the permissions to, or attach the permissions to the users, the new employees that arrived. So I just selected two random permissions in write, and then I'm going to collapse that. Okay. So create snapshot. Okay, so there's a suggestion. I saw it a little late. So yeah, you could just go for that too. Create and then S, so it would further RS. Create snapshot. There's a snapshot as well. Create snapshots, and there's a create snapshot. So wow. So well, and then SSH key exactly. Secure shell key, but no, key pair is public key and private key. That when the virtual machine topic comes, then we're going to talk in detail. But SSH key is just an access key, while key pair is also an access key, but it lets you reveal the local administrator password. So it's a bit different than this. And Alexander says, is there a difference between modify and delete permission? Yes, modify is you're making a change. Delete is you're permanently getting rid of a machine. So there's a big difference between modify and delete. Okay. Well, the main thing is that you get the idea here, and Alexander, I mean, if you can modify, Alexander says, if you can modify, you are also able to delete. So modify will not be delete unless you specifically mention delete, because delete is separately mentioned here. So they would not add those permissions unless they mention that modify would also be. So yes, we would have to then dig down into the question mark, and then when it comes up, then we have to go learn more as well. That since delete permissions are separately defined, so I have to check that myself, to test it myself, that but I'm just guessing right now that modify would not have the delete permissions as well. Normally, yes, you're right. Suppose in Windows permissions you click you give modify and the person is able to delete as well, but here they've defined in such detail and gave a lot of variety of delete as well, so modify should not be there. But yes, I have to check that out myself as well, so hopefully you will check it out. But yes, it could be that delete may be there. So yes, we have to be very careful when we are giving modify permission. We have to just dig down, even after reading the article, attach it and then test it. And whichever user you attach it to, just then log in from that user and try to delete after giving modify permission, and you will know. Okay, and so David says, since we have chosen 3 permissions under allowed, does that mean the rest are denied? So yes, the rest are not allowed, which means denied, yes. So if they are not selected, these are not the permissions users are getting. So yes, anything not allowed or not selected is pretty much they can't do, which means denied. But technically we can leave just 1 byte of information and the file will be modified. Yes, technically we can just so modification on any level you can do, it's just modified, yes. But if again, I have to check it out that if the delete is still there, although delete is separately mentioned in detail, so it should not be there in modify. Okay, so hopefully we have and keep those questions coming. Okay guys, so yeah, what we selected is only allowed here and the rest are not allowed. Exactly. Now once you select that, I'm going to collapse that now, right? Well, the right option I'm going to collapse. Once we collapse that, we get the idea that okay, we have to really go dig down and try to check exactly what list options and read options and tagging and write options really do, and you test it, and then you hand over the whole policy and attach it to a group and that group would be created for the desktop users, and you just add the desktop users there to that group. They will get that permission, all the permissions. Okay, so well, the final one is permissions management, and if we go down here, create network interface permission. Permission management just means that do you want the other users allowed to be are they allowed to give permission to someone else as well? You are giving them permissions, right? You can do this, you cannot do that, but you are giving them the permission to let them give permissions to others as well. So that's where permissions management come. So you can just choose anything from here, create, so they can allow someone else to create network interface as well. They can permit others, right? So I'm going to select one from there, but the main idea was to understand why this option is there. And once you get an idea, yes, then you can play with it. You can do all what you want and test it as well. Other than that, there is below, I'm just going to close this bar on the left. So we see here resources. Specify instance resource ARN, which is an address of the resource. Suppose you create a virtual machine, so ARN for that virtual machine comes up as well. Now, ARN, an example of that would be if I go to another tab here. So I have a duplicated tab here, right? So I don't want to go away from this page, so I have a duplicated tab. If I go there and then go to users and go to some users, so there's a ARN. This is a specific address for given to a user, a specific ID by AWS, which identifies a user, right? So they're just saying that you want to, if I go back here, specify instance resource ARN. So every virtual machine gets a specific AWS address as well, or ARN. Now, I'm going to expand the resources as well. And here, it's saying capacity reservation. Do you want them, so you have not specified resource with type capacity reservation, add ARN to restrict access. Do you want capacity reservation feature to be not used by these users for whom you're creating all this set of permission? So whatever you want, these are some of the major features in virtual machine. Customer gateway, do you want them restricted to create a customer gateway? Do you want them restricted to create a client VPN, restricted to create capacity reservation? What is capacity reservation? You reserve a capacity of a virtual machine. What does that mean? You ask AWS that suppose you have 4 virtual machines. You ask AWS, hey AWS, for the rest of the year, I'm requesting you to reserve 1 terabyte RAM for each of my 4 virtual machines, 32 core processor for each of my 4 machines, and 50 terabyte of disks for each of my 4 machines. So when you say that, hey AWS, please reserve that. So AWS is then supposed to make sure that 24/7 365 these resources that have been reserved by the client must be made available for the whole year, day and night. Suppose AWS at a certain point, when you reserve, you pay more to do capacity reservation. So AWS is supposed to be then making sure that whatever capacity you reserved is available. Suppose AWS is not able to do that, then AWS reimburses some money to you that, hey, sorry, on those data centers, there was some problem there, so we were not able to make available 1 terabyte RAM for each machine for last 3 hours. So we're going to reimburse you some of the money there. So it's capacity reservation. So now, do you want these guys for whom you're creating this policy, this option, do you want them to select to be able to make sure to be able to configure it or not. So any in this account, if I select that, so anyone in this account can actually do capacity reservation, right? So you need to at least select that. This means you're now allowing it, and if you don't select any of those, then you're simply disallowing it. Like it just says that, hey, do you want any of these to be restricted? If not, then select this, and the users for whom you're creating this, they will now be able to do configuration on this capacity reservation feature. They will be allowed to play with it, while if you don't touch these, they will not be allowed to play with all of those. So at least one has to be selected. I just selected a random one, but obviously capacity reservation is a kind of a not a desktop support guys thing, so I would not allow that. If they are desktop support, if they are level 2, level 3, then yes, but not level 1. But this is just giving you an idea that these are some special features. Do you want them to mess with these, or do you want them to be playing with these? Maybe it's a level 3 administrator that arrived, and you have to give him or her access to some advanced features as well. So I just selected one on the top, and then I'm just going down, down, down. In fact, we selected an image create image option. Remember that it's also asking, hey, what do you want to do with this? Because you selected up there where in the right option you selected, or I selected create image, create key pair, create snapshot. So these are the right options. If you select it up there, down here you again have to allow for these features to be accessible and configurable by the users for whom you're creating this policy. So they're saying that, hey, go down there, and for key pair, please click any in this account, and there's one more that create snapshot. I think that is there. Nope. Okay, that's it. So total 3 policies, 3 capacity reservation. I selected myself, like just random, but the other 2 I had to select because they are related to what I selected up there. So it's just a combination of what you want to allow in this policy, and this policy will be attached to a group or a user, and they will get everything you are allowing in this policy. So one policy you can see is how how complicated it could get, that you have to go so in depth in so many areas and try to select that, okay, I'm allowing this and only this and only this, that's it, nothing else, right? So it goes really complicated, and you can see how complicated it can get, and how much testing you need. So it's pretty mature kind of custom policy feature they have shown here. I didn't see that in Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud. So people or those analysts, when they analyze different cloud services, so about AWS, they always say that, hey, they have services that have matured with the passage of time. So yes, you won't see this kind of depth when you're creating a policy in Microsoft Azure or in Google Cloud, the rivals of this AWS Cloud. This kind of maturity you will only see in AWS. That's why it's still the leader in the market. So well, after that, there are some conditions as well. When you're creating a policy, you even further want to restrict somebody, right? So what are the conditions here? So if I expand those conditions here, you can say that there is MFA required, which is multi-factor authentication. MFA, multi-factor authentication. What is that? That you will put a username, password to log in. Also, there will be a code, there will be a text sent to you on your cell phone, or there will be a code sent to you, or there will be just a prompt sent to you. Press yes or no if this is you. So separate factor of authentication will be a cell phone, right? It could be any other device as well. But once you log in, MFA just means that once you log in from browser with the correct username password, it's still not going to let you log in until you go to cell phone and grab a code from there and put it here as well, or just press yes there on the cell phone as well. So if a hacker gets your username password, still he or she would not be able to log in unless he or she has access to your phone as well. Multi-factor. So in this policy, or the members of this policy, do you want them to be having, it's a must to have MFA? If it's a must, then obviously they cannot log in unless they connect from username, password plus their cell phone code as well. Well, yes, email can, Alchiri says email. So yes, email can be the second factor as well. Exactly. And the best would be if the devices are different and you're not using a laptop. And well, yeah, from cell phone you can also access email. You're right. But email, if it's hacked, email can be accessed from anywhere as well. So your credentials of the browser access, and also email if it is hacked. So it's not really cell phone based. So hacker has a bit more ground here to hack. But if it's purely cell phone based service, and cell phone is always with us, so that's a bit more secure. Okay, and other than that, there's a source IP. What is that? So suppose I click source IP here, right? So this is a restriction that you can implement, that now we're all working from home. If you're connecting to your job, right, and remotely connecting to your college, so suppose you're added to this policy, and the policy says whatever is your current public IP right now, given to your DSL router, you can only connect from that public IP to this site or any of the service that you are putting here. EC2 service, you can only use EC2 service or virtual machines if you're connecting from this public IP that is given to your DSL router. So if I go to let's everyone go to, yeah, only allow from certain IP address for Mac. Yeah, this one is for IP address. So guys, everyone please open a tab here, another tab. Go to and type what is my IP. Everyone please type in the tab, next tab here, other tab, open in the browser. Type what is my IP and press enter. You are network guys, so obviously you would know what this is. So this is your home DSL router public IP. Go ahead and copy this. It changes for everyone, it changes, right? Unless you're working from some office, and office have static IPs, public IPs, but residents have homes have IPs that change. So I'm gonna copy my public IP. It's gonna change soon. Anyway, hey, how do you know I have Bell? Where does it say here? Damandeep has correctly guessed it. So you also have Bell. Your IP also starts with 174.88. Or where did you see Bell here? Nowhere, right? So okay, cool. So you also got this. Your IP starts with this as well. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, guys, you grab your own IP because a screenshot is coming now. So please grab your actual IP and paste it here. But just paste it, don't press OK anywhere. So just to prove a point and get a screenshot as well now, that once you put a source IP, so this means if this is your home IP, home DSL router IP, now you're outside somewhere else, and all of a sudden you need to connect to that service and do quickly some work, and you cannot connect if you're outside of your home. If you're not behind this IP, you're suppose in office and you're supposed to connect from there as well, but the policy says no, it's just the public IP of that person's home. Or suppose it's a Toronto office public IP, but you're at home and you need to connect as well now, so you won't be able to connect unless you go to office, and then from there you can connect, right? So if you have placed your public IP, home DSL IP, which will keep on changing obviously. So that's our screenshot number 4 or 5. if I go for 4, okay. So let's go for screenshot number 4 and source IP feature in policy. So that's the name of the screenshot number 4, source IP feature in policy, in AWS policy, that is. Source IP feature in AWS policy. So again, screenshot number 4, source IP feature in AWS policy. I'll take a sample screenshot now. Source IP feature in AWS policy. So I'll go for screenshot 4 equals source IP feature in AWS policy. So that's the name there. I'll put that here as well. Source IP feature in AWS policy. Screenshot 4. Okay, so it's source IP and it's AWS, right? And well, okay, we'll go back. Well, guys, we actually don't need that, so I'm just gonna uncheck that now, but you must have taken a screenshot. Make sure your screenshot is showing on the top right your ID. If it's hidden, then you will lose marks. So make sure that it's pretty much, you know, very specific screenshots there, very few. I'm just gonna uncheck now. You can go ahead and uncheck if you have taken a screenshot already. Okay, data says that for when we put the screenshots into a document, can we just paste them, or do you want the descriptions to them as well? So it's description we don't need, but that title, screenshot 4 equals source IP feature in AWS policy. So and the titles was all the screenshots must be there plus the screenshot, that's all. But description, no. But the titles, yes. I'm giving those titles and writing them specifically, so yes, I expect them to be there. So in MS Word document, make sure the title plus the screenshot is there, guys. Okay, so now, well, overall what you see here is we selected an EC2 service. We first of all wanted to create a custom policy, right? In custom policy, that's how much you have to get involved, and you have to first choose a service for which you're creating a custom policy. Then you go to actions. Five types of actions are there: list, read, tagging, write, and permissions management. And then overall, which major resources of this service you want to want those guys to allow to play with and configure with. And then when these people, desktop guys, are connecting to use the EC2 service, do you want them to use MFA, and do you want them to be only connecting from certain IP address, public IP address? So that's a lot of customization and restrictions. So pretty securely you can have your subordinates connect to your environment, and security is one feature, that one thing that you have to take very, very seriously, right? So let's go ahead, and if you've gone through all that, the main purpose is, do we understand what we're doing, going through here, and what are we doing? And then second thing, how to do it, so, and some idea about that. So once we have done that, or we reached there, additional permissions is just exactly the same thing. It can repeat again as well. So we're just going to go ahead and click review policy now. So I'm going to click that, review policy, and now it says, hey, what's the name of the policy? So we can go for your first name dash custom policy. Let's see. Control A, Control C, and click on description and Control V. So your first name, custom policy, right? And it shows the details of what we selected for this policy as well here. Well, let's not take a screenshot here, but if you have put the name after it is created fully, then we're going to take a screenshot. So just put your name there, and let's click create policy now. So let's click create policy. Okay, so it says on the top here that your first name custom policy has been created, but where is it? Because that's 797 of them. That's a lot. So what we need to do is, what you need to do is go to the search and type your first name, right? And your policy should exactly come like this, and that's your screenshot number 5, custom policy created. So put your name in the filter, your policy should appear like this, and screenshot number 5, custom policy created. Screenshot number 5, custom policy created. Okay, now I'm going to take a sample. Custom policy created, that's it. Screenshot 5. Screenshot 5, custom policy created. And I will put it there. Screenshot 5, custom policy created. And the screenshot. O and K. Okay, so we have created the custom policy as well, and let's go back. So here we see we've gone through groups, users, roles, policies here, and then there's identity providers. Oh, before, actually, you know what? Suppose I go random here. So so if I go for David, there should be 2 policies, right? Okay, David D and David. Okay, and so yeah, you guys have created that down to. There's no such policy for that. And down. Oh, hey, you guys use some different names. Oh, wait. Anyway, not I guess. Nope. So maybe I put some different spellings there, but hopefully, because obviously we need a screenshot for that. So hopefully you've taken that screenshot. If it's not there, then so okay, guys. So then after policies, there is identity providers, right? So I'll click that identity providers here. Let's click that identity providers. Oh, okay. Are you seeing this? What I'm seeing, or you see an actual screen there? Oh, we all see that. Okay. Oh, yay. Okay. So I'll still explain what is this. Your server sign up is almost complete. Oh, okay. So it's going to take 24 hours. Ouch. I'll go back. So let's click the back button here. Maybe next class we may visit that as well. But identity providers is basically if you want to connect the AWS to some other site. So what's the idea behind that? Because we were not able to do the lab anyway, because we don't have another site license with us. So suppose identity providers actually is that suppose you have Facebook users, right? Facebook, or you have Google G Suite users, right? Google G Suite, right? So that's like Office 365. So these are the two sites, and Facebook for business actually, for business people or companies use that too. And Facebook, suppose they have here 500 people, and here G Suite has 2,000 people here, 2,000 employees. Now, identity providers just means that if AWS and these sites have gone through a collaboration, a set of collaboration steps, so which means that they have created a bridge between each other, they have connected through some connectors, they have connected to each other, they have synchronization and replication enabled with each other, then what happens is that AWS says, hey, I have a lot of resources here. I have virtual machines, I have storage, I have networking, I have databases, and lots of other services. And since we have made a secure connection between each other, so what I, as an AWS, offer you your employees is that your employees will be authenticated by you, and I will trust your authentication because we have gone through the procedure of checking each other's security protocols and authentication protocols and connection protocols. Our connections are secure, your authentication is secure. The AWS, trust your authentication and procedure. It's international, according to international security standards. So when your users are authenticated by you, I'll trust that, and then they can connect to me and use my services, right? So that's the idea behind identity providers. It's not that easy to configure, it's not straightforward, but the idea behind, or the concept is this, that AWS just says that, okay, I trust your authentication. So what's the benefit of all this? You don't have to create 500 users in AWS separately as well. AWS just checks the authentication and makes sure it is state of the art. I can trust their authentication, and we have some legal bindings as well now. So we are in legal contract with each other as well. So I trust their authentication. They are responsible for all the users who are carefully being authenticated by them. Once they are authenticated by them, they can just come to me and use the resources here. I will not authenticate them again, or I will not require them to have their usernames and password in AWS as well. So that's the main concept behind identity providers. You can make a connection with any of those. There are hundreds of sites, and even with the local branches, you have again, suppose New York branch here and a New York branch, right? So that is connected with, there are some servers there, there are domain controllers, Active Directory installed there, and there are thousands of users here. You want to connect with AWS. So AWS says that, okay, I trust your authentication, and you can authenticate your users, and I'll just simply trust it and let those users connect to my services. So exactly like like SSO, the buzzword says that. So yes, it's single sign-on. So those users just use their own daily credentials to not only connect to Facebook or not only connect to G Suite, but also to connect with AWS resources as well. So identity providers offers us connectivity to many websites, right? Many, so there's Salesforce.com, there's Microsoft Azure.com, right? There is ServiceNow.com. There are thousands of them, right? So whichever they have done collaboration with, they have gone through vigorous testing of each other's authentication and authorization processes. And once AWS is sure that yes, this site is really following all the international standards, and we agree and bind each other with legal contracts there as well. So after that, yes, I can trust them and their authentication. And yes, now so AWS goes through the partnership process, goes through checking their authentication authorization process, and after that long process, AWS gives a list of, okay, we're good with Facebook, we're good with Google Suite, we're good with Microsoft Azure, we're good with Office 365, ServiceNow, Salesforce.com, and many other sites. So they have a long list of sites that, okay, but not every site. This also means not every site. But you then have to check out the long list of which sites users are trusted by AWS. This means that you have to go through the process of connecting each other, and you must have a purchase license of from whichever site you're trying to make a connection to AWS. So you must have a legit license of that site. Alright, so hopefully you're able to understand the concept behind identity providers, and I'll just quickly put that. Oh, okay, I clicked it, but we already know what that is. Alright, so then comes the account settings, and account setting is all about password policy here. So if we click a password policy is a set of rules. Yeah, it's just a password policy, right? So let's just click that change password policy here. So let's click that change password policy, and it's all about having a complex password for your organization. So right now it's just 8 characters that is allowed, but you can make it as complex as per your company policies, and require at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase, at least one number, at least one of these characters. Enable password expiration. Password expiration requires administrator reset. Allow users to change their own password and prevent password reuse. So you can't use any of the older passwords. So it can go very, very strict as well. The more strict, the more secure the users can be. So we can just take a screenshot number 6 here for password policy. So AWS password complex password policy. AWS complex password policy. So let's take a screenshot number 6. AWS complex password policy. Let me just write it there. Screenshot 6. AWS complex password policy. Well, I'll take a sample screenshot here. Make sure your name appears in every screenshot. Screenshot 6, AWS, and complex password policy. Okay. Well, we get the idea what this is, right? So I'm going to click cancel here after taking a screenshot. And just security token service, it's just saying that well, there's valid only in AWS regions enabled by default, global endpoint. So where do you want secure, where do you want, so token, security token service basically is used for the session when you are connected to AWS. So there's a special token with encrypted information about the session is released, and that is saved in that region from where you're connected. So it's just saying that okay, you will have this STS service available, and your STS token will be saved on the region where you're connecting from. So that's not something that we have to make changes to. Other than that, there you can see always active are US East North Virginia and global endpoint. And other than that, there is, you can deactivate actually some of the regions that suppose nobody needs to be, suppose you want those regions in your subscription of AWS, you don't want anyone to create anything else in any other region, so you can deactivate them in this particular AWS account, user account, right? So suppose this is a company user account, you can also deactivate all these regions and nobody would be able to create anything in here. So anyway, this whole area is for just account settings, not much there, but obviously you would just go for the password complexity. That is a must for more security, although you should implement MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, and that's a must-have. Then there is access reports here, and if I just collapse that, so everything's under that access reports. Well, these are just the reports, and if we go down to access analyzer here, so monitor access to resources, obviously it's not just the report, it's if you're not monitoring your environment, you will be really kind of unexpected activities can start, and many companies have discovered that they were being hacked for last 6 or 7 months, and then they realize, oh, so much of our data has been stolen already. So the thing is that create an analyzer, it says, then review active findings and then take action. So this is what the access analyzer. So access analyzer, as the word says, analyzing the access of every employee or whoever can do that. Oh, I can't see this. I cannot access analyzer. We can't. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the 24-hour activation. Oh, okay. When I choose access analyzer, I get the not fully created account, wait 24 hours. Oh, so it's for everyone, but it's not for me. Okay, that's not good. See, I'm lucky. Woohoo! Oh, okay. So I won't be able to take a screen. You won't be able to take a screenshot of that. This means. Just like identity provider. Okay, no problemo. Well, we can continue from here next class, and so far what we have gone through, because there are some more explanations, longer explanations that are left there, or either we can continue till 11:30 and finish it all. That would also be a very good idea. 11:30 or 12 a.m. Until then, we can keep on studying. And since you guys have nothing tomorrow, yeah, you're all free, right? Tomorrow, nothing to do. So we can go for 12:30 and or 1:30 till midnight, right? So okay. No, I'm just kidding, guys. What's wrong with you? These genuine reactions are priceless. So I wish I could see you, the facial expression. I used to do that in the class, and students would just stare at me, and they would be like, like what? So that was priceless. Okay, anyway, so so let's will it be open after 12? Will what be open after 12? Yeah, that's the fun part. I say it like I mean it, right? So that's the fun part. I mean, I want you to believe that, and then then it would be, those priceless expressions. Okay, so yeah, who's Tazwar? Yes. What's the question? I didn't get your question. Can you elaborate that? Where to submit? Okay, yeah. Guys, I'm about to open that. I didn't create that folder. I'm about to create that, and I'll let you know right now where to submit. It's in Blackboard. 24 hours. Will it be open after 12? Yes, it's open 24 hours. Yes, so 6 screenshots total, guys. Okay. Is PDF okay? As long as I can see the screenshot and the title clearly, yes. Okay, so let me just create that, guys. So we could just start uploading that. So I would be revoking, as I was told by the administration, I would be revoking permission from IAM area, and I'll be giving you permission on virtual machine area then. So you won't have 24/7 permissions on IAM, because I'm giving you full permissions there. So, but yes, there is full auditing, and if someone does something wrong, we can clearly see that in the audit logs, and then you're risking your marks. So don't do anything nasty. Okay, you guys are 494.10, right? Okay. Okay, so it's week 4, and just go to week 4, guys. Oh, well, I haven't created yet, so wait. Zero 03Feb. So inside week 4, I'm creating it. So just copy everything in your MS Word. Name your MS Word as your full name plus course name, and that's it. Upload. I'm about to create the uploading. Upload week 4. Deadline is tonight, 11:59. Oops, not group submission. Okay, guys, go ahead, refresh week 4 and upload, and see you next week. Alright, bye-bye. What should we name? Name should be your full name plus course name. COMP3108, your CRN. Thanks. Alright, bye-bye. Do we need to sign out from it? Yes, guys, please everyone sign out from AWS and upload the document, and bye-bye. I'll close the video.